Hey, what's up everybody? Happy New Year. It's been a while. Today we're gonna look at 3 replays, actually a best of 5 between Clem's Protoss and Cure. So for obvious reasons we're gonna focus mostly on Clem's playstyle here. I want to see a little bit how he views the matchup from his perspective. Obviously, as the Terran World Champion, he has a good idea of how this matchup works. Let's see how he plays it from the other perspective. So I'm not gonna, watch the whole replay slowly and so on. I'm gonna speed up the process a little bit so we can actually focus on the interesting parts, which is like the build order, the execution, how he thinks, and so on. So yeah, nothing too spectacular at the beginning. I guess just a normal probe scout right after the gateway. He's gonna build his Nexus at 20 after his cybernetics core. Of course, you get pylon on the low ground, so then you have access to a wall later on against Hellions and so on. Fairly standard. Cure, on the other hand, is going for a 2-gas opener, which is very popular these days in the matchup. So could be anything. Really, a lot of players like to play double Reaper in a Hellion and put a little bit of pressure on the Protoss. Let's see what he does. So yeah, as Protoss, you're supposed to chrono your gateway twice. You make 2 Adepts, even if you go Blink, simply because they are cheaper, so you can afford your Twilight a bit faster. Also Adepts 3-shot Marines and SCVs, and you'll be able to scout. You can see this little maneuver by Clem. Now he's gonna be able to see what is up on the other side. We're actually gonna watch a little bit from Clem's perspective. So generally speaking, I'm not sure I always want to move out against 2-gas or play this aggressive, because as you can see, he just lost his Adept, but then he actually killed an SCV, which I guess is fine. You delay the CC a little bit and you have the whole info. A little bit of a micro area from Cure. Then again, these guys are playing on either central or west, which is quite a bit of ping, to be fair. The Adept survives, and yeah, so you get your second gateway right after your Twilight cancel. Then you get your Robo whenever you have 100 gas. And then this is the moment whether you make a 3rd gateway, 2 extra gateways, or a 3rd base. In that case, Clem is going to add 2 extra, which means has a total of 4, so that's a 4-gate blink. I'll try to be a bit more gentle with the camera. And yeah, basically you try to warp in Stalkers 24/7. Ideally, you would like to time this second gateway exactly as warp gate finishes. So technically speaking, this gateway is like 5 seconds late, but not a big deal at all. So yeah, whenever this robo finishes, you chrono a warp prism. Yeah, he has enough energy, should be able to chrono it. And there you have the medevac drop. So you have to really deal with it, because then later on, if you don't get a good defense, you could be in trouble for the later stages. So yeah, Clem is gonna sacrifice a little probe to get rid of the mine. So that's the thing. And there was a Hellion actually that dealt a little bit of damage. I'm a little bit blind. But yeah, anyway, the thing is, as Terran, you would like to have still a single mine and your medevac maybe hiding in a corner. I actually don't even know if it's possible. You can probably put it here, but it's nice to keep a threat on the Protoss side, so you can actually force maybe a pair of Stalkers back home. Here in that case, Clem knows he dealt with everything, so he can bring every single unit towards the front and then apply pressure earlier and with more units. So yeah, Clem has 10 Stalkers. He's gonna go for it. But you gotta consider you need 11 Stalkers to one-shot a tank. So as you can see, the tank survived with 5 HP. And a really good Prism micro. Barely saved the one in the red. Very well done by Clem. So yeah, ideally you would like to wait maybe for an 11 Stalker, so you actually have the one-shot on the tank. Now he actually does. And he's gonna go for it. And then you pick up little Stalkers that are bruised. There you go. And keep in mind, there's always some stuff going on the other side of the map. In that case, it's a Banshee. And as we see, Clem is not doing that great economically, like 44 SCVs to 40 probes, so that's actually pretty bad for Clem. Sorry. But you really want to keep on putting the pressure on the other side. There we go, there you go, it blinks on the bunker. So you really want to target all the ACVs, that it does. Here it kills 4, it's going to kill a 5th. So yeah, you really want to take all the small wins here and there as you can. It's really the strength of the stalkers, you know, they're really microable. Then you have the warp prisms, you can afford to blink in and then micro back, which is what he does very well. Cure also scanned to get rid of the observer, which may indicate that he could make another Banshee, which is actually not the case. I mean, he made 3 for that matter, that's actually quite a bit. So that actually makes sense. And see, this is what I was mentioning earlier. He has a Banshee over there. So Clem has to leave an observer and at least 1 stalker, sometimes 2, but in that case this Banshee is in the red, so 1 is enough. There you have another Banshee. The shield battery is a little too late. And Clem actually decided to pull back altogether with his stalkers. I think he should be able maybe to catch this one. Observer is a little far away. And Clem takes a little while to react. That's actually some pretty good counterattack by Cure. So it's a 4-gate blink. I think it dealt some damage. Let's see. Resources lost actually pretty even in terms of workers. Actually Cure killed quite a bit more. But then he was very committed. You know, he made like 3 benches, which is, you know, not cheap at all. And Clem really tries to get as much map control as he can. He has a warp prism here, which is going to be able to spot drops here. Sometimes you can leave a stalker there to actually see drops coming from the natural. You have your stalkers at the front, maybe even an observer. You really want to get as much map control as you can. And if the Terran decides to move across the map, you can not only kite and kill some Marines, and you can also counterattack with a warp prism. So very cute move, you know, delaying the CC a little bit, getting an SCV. This is what you get, you know, when you have a very high skilled, especially mechanically speaking, such as Clem, you can really get a lot out of the stalkers. Now Cure is going for a little counter attack. I'm not sure how effective these are. Maybe you want to time them at the same time as this push. But then again, Clem is going to have charge plus 1 attack ready. And probably more than enough units to get rid of this. As you see, Clem has 60 probes. He's mining, you know, comfortably. Has a lot of income. This Warp Prism counterattack is gonna disrupt the mining a little bit. That's really the strength, you know, of this style. You have all the map control in the world. You see exactly what's going on, so you can really counterattack whenever you're able to. And you can also kite with the stalkers. So yeah. This playstyle really rewards being active. It's a little bit of a misstep, but then again, not necessarily. Actually, I had Observer, which had all the info. Cure's gonna go for a tiny drop. He actually didn't wait for his army, just went for it anyway, which I'm not sure is the correct call, but then again, he's trying to go at multiple fronts, but there's a battery here that was ready. And the Banshee barely survives. So Clem's going to cancel the Nexus wisely. And, you know, this army is not very big by Cure. It's going to probably overwhelm it. As you saw, Clem was targeting both medivacs. He got 2 medivacs for free, basically, here. And at the same time, as I said, there's always going to be a Zealot counterattack doing damage. He's going to get a tank. Shouldn't be able to... Cure could have maybe moved it, but then again, he was kiting. 2 tanks for free. And then it becomes extremely difficult for Cure at this point. Now he's going to be locked in his natural. Clem has 3 full sentries. He's going to be able to just force field as he would like to. In the meantime, Clem is expanding more, making probes. I mean, he should actually, at least. The Viking count is too low, so the Stalkers can just outmaneuver them freely. And then it becomes extremely difficult for Cure. And as I see, actually, why is this red on? Yeah. What the hell? Not sure why Protoss is blue here, and in reality it's red, but whatever. This is why I was like, why is he down in supply? But actually it's not. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it for game number 1. Pretty swift game, you know, very straightforward. And Clem goes to show he can do it as Protoss as well. Alright, game number 2 is gonna be on Kingsco, and before we delve into it, I would like to remind you guys that I'm still actively coaching, so if you feel like you're stuck, you've hit a plateau, or simply you wanna get your replays analyzed, or you just wanna improve, you have my Discord below in the description box, so click there, and then we can talk about it. Alright, so let's speed up a little bit the early game, we don't really care too much, you know. Standard build order, 16 gateway. Clem is gonna scout. There's a lot of spots on which you can proxy on this map. Here, here, there, anywhere really. But proxies are not as common as they used to be. Be careful, let's try to keep this probe alive. So once again, 20 core, 20 nexus on the side of Protoss. So Clem really, you wanted to know whether it was Marine first. You wanted to harass a little bit to delay the command center as much as you could. And Clem once again is just gonna do the same opener again. He really likes to play the same build, it's very solid, and of course it makes his mechanics shine a lot. Double chrono boost on the adepts. And then you really try to chase this Reaper so that you can actually cross the map to possibly deal some damage and have a scout. When you know there's a Reaper out on the map, so you really try to push it as far as you can with the adepts, but then you have to commit to a third unit, in that case a stalker, because you want to go on the map with both your adepts, and if you don't make a third unit, well, the Reaper is just gonna kill your pros basically. If there's no Reaper, feel free to skip this unit, and so you can get maybe your gateways, your robo, everything quicker. You can basically play a little bit greedier. But in that case, there's a Reaper, so you have to get a Stalker. See, Reaper's just gonna get deflected. Robo whenever you can afford it. And then, once again, do you make a third? Do you make a second gate, third gateway, and a fourth? This is why it's actually very difficult as Terran to actually know what you're up against. Is it actually a full-on 4 gate, just 3, or a 2 into a third? This is why it's super important to actually get the intel. Keeping the Reaper alive is actually crucial. He actually lost it. The Hellion can be actually good at scouting. The medevac drop with Widowmines can also be useful. So you really want to have like a good intel as Terran as to what the Protoss is doing, so you don't overreact basically. Because in that case, if you play super defensive, assuming this guy is gonna go for a very heavy pressure and is just expanding and making probes, then you're gonna be far behind. So you don't want to overreact, but you don't want to die to a 3 or 4 gate blink either, which is extremely difficult as Terran to read. So yeah, this is just a 2 gate into third, as you can see already at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. The next is like a third done. And Cure's gonna go for a tiny Widowmine drop. So the adepts are actually pretty useful at targeting this Widowmines. Maybe Cure could have retargeted towards the Stalkers, perhaps. Blink was not done yet, but then again, it was very close to completion, and perhaps you wouldn't want to take the risk to have the Stalkers just avoid the shot. Alright, and from then on, Clem is just gonna go back on the map because he knows this medevac has been dealt with. It's empty. You have no reason to stay back home. And yeah, Clem is gonna put on some pressure despite only having 2 gateways. You do that because you know you're safe, right? Maybe actually he wants to pick that off. Then again, when you play as Clem, right now you don't necessarily know what's up. Perhaps it could be a Raven or a Banshee. So keeping the Stalkers at home could also be a very reasonable choice, just in case there's a Banshee or Raven harassment. Anyway, as for us, you just keep on making probes. You get +1 attack, charge, 2 extra gateways, and then you're gonna go ideally up to 8 gateways, as we see this medevac is trying to hide in a corner. Clem leaves just a single Stalker there. You know, it's just 2 hits away, so you don't really need more. Actually, maybe just 1. No, yeah, 2 hits away. As I said, Clem's gonna go up to 8 gateways. There you go, there's 4. 2 more here, 2 more there. Now he's got 8. Good production. You always want to have at least 1 sentry. maybe 2 ideally, so you have not only Force Field, but you have Guardian Shield, which is actually mandatory against Bio. Like, you really get +2 armor for free, basically, so it's a very big deal. Like, this spell, like Guardian Shield, is actually very underrated. I'm not sure why so many people skip it. It's such a good spell. And now we have a little bit of a multi-prong harassment. Here we have a drop over there and an attack at the front. And there you go. You have some good Force Field here by Clem. We have the battery overcharge available. Maybe we could use it on a... There you go. He actually uses it. Maybe could have snatched a mortar or two, but no big deal. And Clem is just safe. And yeah, basically Clem right now is playing in a very comfortable position. He's actually going to chase, you know, noticing it's mostly Marauders and their DPS is not very high against Zealots. So you want to keep the Zealots at the front, and he actually decides to move on forward. Perhaps, yeah, okay, pulls the sentry back. Very well done. He's going to pick up a Marauder and just blink back. And this is what you get when you have like very good micro. And then the next step is obviously to go into +2 attack. When +1 is finished, then you go into Robo Bay. And perhaps you could go into a Warp Prism at this point, because usually when you go for 3 or 4 gate blink, you already have one, if you keep it alive. In 2 gate blink, you don't, so I think I would have liked to see a Warp Prism before the Colossus. But then again, you're a bit short in money, and it was he was under serious pressure, so maybe he just didn't want to spend that resources. And yeah, Clem is very active. Those Zealots are gonna find the medevac. And they should be dealt with. Maybe blinking. Do you have blink available? No, it's not available just yet. And yeah, you basically try to go for force at this point. And you're going to be able to outmine the Terran quite a bit. And then with that extra income, you're going to be able to be on the map, put on some pressure. I'm actually going to speed up a little bit so we can go to the interesting action. But yeah, like you should be making more probes. Clem actually makes a second forge, which is totally fine. So you don't want to get behind on upgrades in case Terran actually goes for double eBay, which is the case as you can see in the production tab. And yeah, you basically want to get more probes. You have 4 base saturated against a Terran, which is only going to be on 3. And you should even make an extra base very soon, you know. And if we put ourselves in Cure's perspective, you don't really see much of anything, right? Whereas when you see Clem, he's got a Zealot counter-attack over there, some stalkers on the map. Anyway, you have blink, there's no risk. Another counter-attack here, and then you're able to see everything. There's also an observer there and a Zealot here. Like, the map control from Clem is actually very, very good. Oh, be careful with that Colossus. He might die, he's gonna get sniped. Actually, the Force Field's a little counterproductive here, but he's probably dealing from this attack here as well. As we see, there's a Zealot run by here going on as well, killing 8 AC. This is what I was talking about. You always want to do run-bys everywhere. Cure is going to load everything into the natural, which I'm not sure if I subscribe to this decision. Clem is going to target the medevacs. He's actually clicking on them. The Colossus just spawned right now. And in the bottom left, we have also the main attack that has been dealt with. And this actually has been a disaster. Oh, actually, Clem, did you see that? He actually clicked on a few probes to add extra DPS on the Widowmine. He was able to actually take it down. Actually, very well done by Clem. And then you end up in a situation, if I press I, if you look at the income, Clem has 3k mineral income against 2k, so that's, you know, quite a big difference, and he's going to keep on expanding further. He has all the map control he needs. The next step is going to be Dark Templars. Actually, I didn't show it because I'm a terrible observer, but I think Cure saw the DTs with a scan over there. Speaking of scan, one DT is going to be taken down. But as a thing now, as a Protoss, you're fully in control. You're going to be able to put on pressure. You keep on mining. You see 75 probes. You could even make more if you would like to. Can keep on with the upgrade. Would be nice to queue +2 armor. I believe he made a second forge. Would be nice to use it. And as I say that, he does. And yeah, like Clem basically is gonna go on the map. And you want to trade as much as you can, because once again, you're mining way more than a Terran. So even if you trade slightly inefficiently, you're still winning, because you're gonna basically try to starve the Terran as much as you can. And at some point, Terran's just not gonna be able to remake his army. Once again, see a DT here to see whether he's got a fourth, an observer there, a zealot here, and a warp prism here. Like Clem has vision absolutely everywhere. This is actually very good, very good play by him. And I think he should just be able to move our Terran friend here. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he does. He's loading a medivac, as you can see on the minimap over there. It's gonna load a bunch of zealots. Could go into the main and warp maybe a DT. No, he's actually gonna just warp in a natural. And he's gonna pull the trigger in the front as well. Once again, you can just retreat, use the Stalker, and maybe kill a Viking or two. Could have killed it, but very close. And those warpings are actually very difficult to deal with. Like, keep in mind, like, Kira has to deal with 2 locations at once. And what happens is you take disruptor hits, because as Terran you cannot be everywhere. Clem is gonna retreat, target 1 Viking by 1 as he retreats. He uses disruptor balls to safely go back to a safer location, and I think it's just gonna be it. Cure is gonna be massively overwhelmed over there, and that was hell of a sick game. Alright, game number 3 on Whispers of Gold between Clem and Cure. Let's see if we get maybe a 3-gate blink this time around. So I'm gonna speed up a little bit the early game. So game 1 we had a 4-gate blink, this time 2-gate blink on King's Cove. Let's see what he does on this map. He could actually play Stargate as well. Let's see what he does, but I know Clem really likes blink. And also blink is super rewarding when you play, when you have like good mechanics, is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, you use this typical wall on this map. And also there's one thing that Clem does very well. Actually, maybe I can put myself in his view and we'll see if he does do that. Like, usually you do that in the first 50, 60 seconds of the game. Maybe now he's busy doing something else, such as blocking here. And he does very well until the very last hit. So basically you want to use your probes so that you can do the little mining trick here. Now he's busy doing something else, but he does that very well. And many other players do now these days. Like, it's very common to do that, but you have to be super consistent with it. So Clem actually didn't go all the way towards the main to see whether there was second gas, but he knows it's just a one gas simply because of the timing in the CC. I think Clem pretty much knows every timing of his own race. So it's gonna be Twilight, I suppose, you know, 2 adepts like this and warp gates, so I would be surprised to see anything other than a Twilight Council here. Cure could actually go in. Now it's a little bit of a trap because this Reaper has been hurt a little bit, and now you have 2 adepts and a wall, so it's going to be very difficult as Cure to get out of this base. He actually gets all the intel, which is, you know, what you're looking for as Terran. Kill probe, you know. I know some Terrans like to keep this Reaper alive for later stages, such as being able to know when the Protoss takes a third, which is actually a pretty big deal to actually know whether Pro is going for 2, 3, or 4 gateways. In this case, you actually get the scout, because on this map, as the Reaper player, if you jump over there, you cannot see this building. This is why this is a very good wall, because if you put the pylon in a perfect location and the building, like the tech building behind, you will not be able to see this tech building. This is why Cure actually committed. So I really am not gonna blame him for that, but this is what happens. The Reaper dies. You can actually just put pressure with double adept. I mean, you would do anyway, but you don't necessarily have to make a stalker behind it. He did anyway, which is totally fair. Now, a little mistake by Cure, he let the depot open, and then Clem is gonna take advantage of that, kill ACV. You can see he's splitting the shots, because you don't want to overkill. Here it cancels the shade, so you can actually kill the last SCV, which is very well done. 5 kills, very well done. A little bit of a mistake by Cure. I'm just going to pull the probes away. Not losing anything actually to the Hellion, not even a single kill. Like, very well done. And Clem actually elected to go for 3-gate blink in that case. But this gateway is a little late, to be fair with you. But, you know, still very deadly. So now you want to keep your stalkers at home for a little while, so you can actually get rid of the potential medevac drop, which is actually coming in that case. With 3-gate blink, you still want to get, you know, a relatively quick third, quote unquote. It's not that fast, but you still want to make it, which you would make it way later with Forget Blink. Here, Blink is already done. He's gonna kill the Medevac. And now you can, yeah, you do the little Blink trick, so you can avoid the shots. And that's actually a very, very good trade for Clem. Basically losing just a little bit of mining time. Gets rid of the Medevac, gets rid of the mine. This is why I like some players. I know Marine, for instance, likes to play like this. It just leaves the Medevac over there. Or there, maybe even if you can go there, because, you know, it's not easy to access this area. You know, there are stalkers that are going to be blocking the way. But you actually have a threat. You know, you're able to drop in either the natural or the main. You actually have a threat. Here you have no threat, so the pros can actually bring, just like in game 1, every single stalker offensively. And that's actually a big deal. So that's a nice wall. Clem's going to be able to kill an SCV. This wall is becoming more and more popular in this matchup to actually defend 3 or 4 get blink pressures. But then that leaves this little upgrade more vulnerable. So that's the downside of it. So far the defense from Cure is actually very good despite the tragic early game. This is what I was talking about as well, the Raven harassment. Forcing a stalker back home, which you would like to have offensively. Here Clem is going to get rid of the bunker, not losing anything. You blink forward, you use your Warp Prism to retrieve your units safely. And then you can just get value for free basically. So yeah, the little multitasking battle is occurring on the other side of the map. Kill 5 probes is actually pretty good. Like Cure is in a very good spot right now. But then again, you can still make magic happen with those stalkers. So Clem believes he will not be able to do more damage at the front because of the Marines and the tank just there. So he's just gonna load 4 stalkers in the Warp Prism and try to deal some damage. 4 stalkers, 1 shot and ACD. So that's the magic number basically. So this is why you really want to have 4 in the Warp Prism. Once again, if we put ourselves in Clem's perspective, he has this area covered, he has a an observer there, and he could even later on bring a little stalker over there to see whether Cure is going for a counterattack. The Raven is chilling there. It's going to be used again. There you go. Just one little SCV. You know, you take value as much as you can. Here he's going to kill, you know, maybe a Marine or 2. There you go, another Marine. And it just adds up. You see the resources lost tab, you know, it just adds up. Oh, he actually lost something here. He lost a few probes. So yeah, generally speaking, you could also make a shield battery there as well. The battery is going to out-heal or out-DPS, whatever you want to say, the auto turret. And if Terran has 2 auto turrets, then they should target the battery to get rid of it. That's how it works. So now Clem has 8 gateways online, is making an immortal, and because he lost quite a bit of probes, he's actually gonna mine a little less gas. Okay, I'm gonna analyze that later. As we see a big fight here, and this is the strength of this strategy, right? You have a big swell of zealots, and then you retreat with the sentries. You have a lot of energy. Once again, you can use the energy overcharge on the sentries as well, which is quite useful. See, a little trick, he saw the Widow Mine, so he pulled the stalker forward to actually avoid doing too much AoE damage. I mean, this is still a pretty scary situation for Clem right now. Like, I would have like my heart beating pretty fast in this scenario, but you still dealt with it. And now the next step, you have like the Warp Prism counterattack. Oh, that's actually dangerous. That's actually very dangerous. Okay, he's gonna escape safely, but ideally you would want to let maybe the Zealot block the way to tank and then really put them back in the Warp Prism. And yeah, once again, Clem is gonna try to get as much value with the stalkers as he can. He just killed a little Widow Mine over there, and then you keep on expanding. This is the same game plan as the 2 other games. +2 attack, then you go into Colossus. You're gonna try to make more probes. You should actually be making probes right now. I'm not sure why he's not. And then you have a little counter attack with the Warp Prism. I think the Warp Prism has been killed. Yeah, it has been killed. And I'm such a bad observer, it's actually terrible. Anyway, we'll get better at it. And once again, kill the Marina. You really want to not only put as much pressure as you can to get value over time, but also to keep the Terran at home and try to basically be free from any harassment and annoyance. So I'm not sure. Yeah, Clem is finally resuming the pro production. He could have resumed that a little earlier. And he's gonna try to send the Venivac. He's not gonna have enough. Yeah, barely gonna be able to survive despite having +1 attack. And we're gonna go forward in this game. But yeah, as you see, there's always one army over there as Clem. And look at your minimap. Like whenever this attack was occurring, this little Zealot counterattack is going for 2 well-placed mines, but they're gonna be taken out by the Zealots. Okay, some pretty nice force field here, of course. Then again, it's Clem, so the micro is impeccable. And yeah, once again, you should have another round of Zealots. He decides to actually bring the Zealots with his main army instead of doing another counterattack. You cannot like counterattack 27 either, because yeah, then the Terran's just gonna expect it. But that's the issue. When you see everything as Protoss and you don't see much as Terran, it's very hard to know whether there's a Warp Prism, a Zealot counterattack here and there. Which is why Clem is abusing it as much as he can. Then again, no Viking, so Clem is gonna be able to kite a little bit. Oh, Marauder's going a little bit too far forward here. It's a little dangerous. And as you see, yet another little Zealot counterattack over there. And I think we should be able to see DTs very soon as well. Clem is actually being super aggressive, man. Like, this army is not that big, right? Barely has any force field left. I actually has 2. Almost 3. And then 2 Colossus. I guess you could perhaps add another Forge. I mean, as I say that, there goes the Forge. Great man, think alike, right? And the DTs come by as well. So maybe you would like to see to go over there with the DTs maybe on the left, so you don't, you know, come across this pass. Turret is being made here, turret there. So he may have, he probably scanned the DTs or add the info one way or the other. And that's the difficult part as Terran. Right now, Protoss is on 4 bases, out mining a little bit. I mean, there are still mules, right? But you go for a 5th, and this base is soon gonna be mined out. This base is gonna run dry pretty soon as well. And this is the dangerous moment as Terran, because this base is gonna be mining in a minute from now as Protoss, while the Terran Natural and Terran Main are gonna run out of money. And this is why this base is so crucial, and this is why the Protoss wants to delay this base as much as you can. And you want to trade because you are mining more once again. So if you trade even a little bit worse, it's fine because you're still out mining the Terran. So here Clem is a little short on Stalker, so he's gonna lose probably at least a Colossus if Cure keeps on chasing. He's gonna get it. So yeah, Clem needs a little more Stalker at this point. Probably, yeah, he's just made 4 extras. Maybe you would like to go like for 10 of them. He's got like, yeah, 8. That's okay. And the run by from Clem is actually gonna turn into the fight to actually get rid of the main army of Cure. That's a pretty good fight by Clem, but then again, you have Ghost on Cure sides of things, so you have to respect the Ghost. So yeah, I think maybe Clem should maybe slow down a little bit, wait for an extra warping to actually take a fight. And now this base is gonna be mining very soon. It should be transferring some workers. There you go. He's gonna make a few more, you know, 4 extra probes being queued. And now Clem really wants to keep on pouncing on the Terran, so you can keep on trading. And if I press I, this is the moment where Protoss outmines Terran quite a bit. It's gonna be even worse in a few minutes when the probes are gonna be reaching this base. Gonna be 3k here to only 2.3, you know, like the mules are out, so he's mining more, but then again you have to sacrifice the scan if you do that. And keep in mind, Terran doesn't have that much map control with this playstyle as Protoss. You see a Zealot here, a Zealot there. You could even make a pylon on the edges to have more vision and see absolutely everything. And if you look at Cure, well, has no fucking clue what's going on. It doesn't even know what bases have been taken. Like, it's been you know, a very hard match for him playing in the dark. And that's really the strength of this style that Max Pax has been playing for basically a month at this point, and that Clem has been trying to imitate to great success. I wouldn't even be surprised if Clem actually decides to take another Nexus at this point. So Clem has how many? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gases, which is basically enough to make 2 disruptors at a time and have some gas in the bank to get to go for DTs. If you want to go, I'm gonna pause. If you want to go for DT Blink, which he actually does have the upgrade, you actually want more geysers. You have like 2, 4, 5, 6. Max packs generally goes for 8, I believe, when he goes for DT Blink. Then again, if you decide to only go for 6 geysers instead of 8, then you're going to have more minerals. You're going to be able to expand a little faster as well, which is also nice if you want to go for a very heavy trading style like Clem does. And yeah, keep in mind, like when Terran is at home, chilling, well, you're basically have your back against the wall already, which means you cannot really outrun the disruptors forever. And if you decide to kite away, well, you're gonna leave your SCV exposed, and the Terrans, the Protoss, gonna be able to kill more of your stuff, get more value. There you go, little Viking for free. Those kind of maneuvers really favor Clem in this scenario. I think Clem would like to take a fight at this point. Like Guardian Shield, like 3-2 has been finished. And he's gonna go for it. Oh, no Guardian Shield. Nice EMP on the sentries. Clem knows he's taking an awkward fight, so he's just gonna go back and use Disruptor Balls to retreat safely. See? And he sniped all the Vikings all the way. That's really what he does very well, you know, like... Basically, you just... When you know you're taking a fight that's not gonna go very well, you just pull back, throw Disruptor Balls, and then you only select your Stalkers and target Vikings one by one, so you can get as much value as you can. And behind it, Clem is expanding more. He's gonna transfer more probes over there. He's got 76 probes. I know some players are gonna go well over 80 and keep on mining as hard as they can. And if you look at the income tab, you know, like Clem is out mining still in minerals by quite a bit. And this is the moment where I was talking about, like Cure is gonna start to become broke, you know. Sure is training a little better, but you know, it's like 1.5k difference, which doesn't justify being outmined by almost 1,000 per minute, right? So by trading all the time like this and you're outmining the Terran, at some point our Terran friend is just not going to be able to replenish his army. And this is the moment where Terran dies. And of course you want to target those air units as much as you can with those Stalkers, get the medevac, because Cure would rather make, I don't know, Vikings or maybe Liberators against Disruptors. I mean, he's got 2 medevacs with 2 starport with reactor, but you know, he's still running low on money. And you can see Clem, with all his income, is able to replenish his army. He's got 3 robos, you know, making 2 disruptors and a Colossus, probably around 10 gateways. And this is the moment where Cure is basically running dry. And you could even see maybe like a DT warping on the other side of the map to get rid of this base. Here we'll just have a Zealot run by, so this base is never going to be able to land. And this is basically going to be a painful death for Cure. You're just, you know, just slowly suffering, like losing units after unit, and there's not much you can do. He's just going to decide to leave because he knows what's going to happen. But see, he still has no idea. Like, Cure has been playing in the dark all the time. Clem is just putting the pressure all the time with like very good vision throughout the map, even leaving a probe there. As I said, you could even add a pylon here, a pylon there on the edges, so you can actually see if Liberator counterattacks are coming your way. But basically, that's a very solid playstyle that has been popularized by Max Packs. Clem has been using this style quite a bit. He plays target every now and then, but he really favors the blink, which I think really shows how well, when your mechanics are this great, how well you can succeed. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for watching. Keep in mind the description, you have my Discord for coaching, and I will see you around. Bye bye.